Leslie always traveled for work, and I never questioned it. I trusted her, like a damn fool. She'd pack her bags, kiss me goodbye, say something sweet, and disappear for a few days. Every time she came back, she acted like she missed me. Like everything was normal. But then I got this letter. No return address. Just a plain white envelope with a few lines inside. Your wife isn't traveling for work. She's meeting someone. You should check the Hilton in Charlotte next weekend. That was it. No proof, no name, just that. But something about it hit me deep. I couldn't ignore it. So I packed a bag, told her I had a work emergency of my own, and hit the road. Got into town, waited across the street from the restaurant the letter mentioned. And sure enough, there she was, Leslie. Hair curled, wearing that red dress she swore she'd never wear without me. Sitting across from some guy, laughing like a teenager. And then my stomach dropped. The guy was my brother. My own blood. I just sat there in the car, frozen. Couldn't breathe, couldn't think. He saw me. We locked eyes for a second. He didn't panic. He didn't flinch. Just pulled out his phone and sent me a message. Leslie's been fooling around with me and a buddy of mine. Didn't know she was your wife until recently. Figured you wouldn't believe me, so I had to bait her out. What's the move now? I stared at that message, and all I felt was cold. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Just this still, burning cold like everything inside me froze over. I texted him back, we bury her. Not literally. I'm not going to prison for that woman. But reputation? Image? Life she built on lies? Yeah, that was getting torched. First, we set her up. My brother told her his friend wanted to meet her, someone with deep pockets, interested in spending time on the regular. She bit instantly. Said she was ready, asked where and when. I had him set the meeting at a nice hotel in our city, Home Turf. Then I rented the room next door. Had cameras installed. My brother brought her in, mic'd up, played the part. She bragged about how easy it was to fool me, how she used my money to travel, how I was too soft to ever catch her. We got it all. Every damn word. After she left, I sent the footage to her boss, her family, her church friends, and every social media account she ever used to post blessed wife selfies. Last thing I did was put the video on a flash drive, seal it in an envelope, and leave it on her nightstand with a note, don't bother coming home. Game's over. You lost. She tried calling. Texting. Said it was a joke, said I was overreacting, said I'd regret this. But she doesn't get it, I'm not angry anymore. I'm clean. She's the one sitting in the ruins. I still remember the exact moment when my world exploded. It was a Tuesday morning, nothing special about it. I was drinking coffee, checking emails like I always did. The mail had come early, junk, bills, and then that plain white envelope with no return address. I almost tossed it with the junk. Wish I had. Inside was a single sheet of cheap printer paper, folded once, with those words that would detonate my 5-year marriage, your wife isn't traveling for work. She's meeting someone. You should check the Hilton in Charlotte next weekend. I read it 3 times, my coffee going cold in my hand. Then I laughed. Had to be a prank, right? Some asshole with nothing better to do. Leslie and I were solid. Rock solid. She traveled for pharmaceutical sales, had been doing it since before we met. 3, sometimes 4 days a week on the road, building her territory. She made good money. We had a good life. But the letter, it was like a splinter in my mind. I couldn't get it out. That night, when she called from Denver, I listened differently. Watched her face on the video call. The way her eyes shifted slightly when I asked what her schedule looked like tomorrow. The practiced smile when she said she couldn't wait to be home. I miss you, she said, flashing that smile I used to think was just for me. Miss you too, I replied, wondering how many other men had heard those same words this week. After the call, I pulled up our bank statements, her flight confirmations, the location history on her phone that we shared for safety. Everything checked out. Denver. Marriott downtown. Dinner expenses at places that showed up on Google Maps where she said they'd be. The thing about Leslie, she was smart. Meticulous. It's what made her so good at her job. The perfectly ordered samples case. The client spreadsheets color-coded by potential. The follow-up calls scheduled precisely 7 days after the initial meeting. But even smart people make mistakes. And I was starting to look a lot more carefully. Thursday night, she texted a selfie from her hotel room in Denver. Smiling, hotel robe, glass of wine, missing me. I saved it. Then I used that reverse image search tool, the one she'd shown me when we were buying our house, to check if the real estate photos were recent. The hotel room wasn't in Denver. It was the Westin in Charlotte. Not even trying to hide it, just thinking I was too stupid to check. That's when the cold started seeping in. Not anger yet, something quieter, deadlier. The kind of calm that comes when you realize every sweet thing you believed was horseshit. I didn't confront her. Didn't let on. She came home Friday night, full of stories about Denver, about difficult clients and delayed flights. Kissed me like nothing was wrong. And I kissed her back, tasting the lies on her lips, wondering how many other men had tasted them before me this week. How about I cook tonight, she offered, already pulling ingredients from the fridge. You've been alone all week, eating God knows what. I watched her hands move efficiently through the kitchen, chopping, stirring, pouring wine. The diamond on her finger catching the light. The ring I'd saved for 2 years to buy her. Sounds perfect, I said, and I meant it. Because this would be our last normal night together, though she didn't know it yet. The next morning, I told her I was meeting some buddies to watch the game. Instead, I sat in my car outside our house and followed her when she left. She drove straight to the airport, parked in short-term parking. I kept my distance, watching as she checked in, not for Denver this time, but for Charlotte. Just like the letter said. I went home, packed a bag, and made a reservation at the Hilton in Charlotte for the following weekend. Then I did something I never thought I'd do, I called in sick to work for the entire next week. Said it was a family emergency. Technically, I wasn't lying. When Leslie called on Monday night from her conference in Boston, I played my part perfectly. Asked about her day, told her I missed her, said I couldn't wait for her to be home on Thursday. I miss you too, babe. So much, she said, her hotel room background carefully arranged. I hate sleeping alone. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. Thursday came. She returned, full of Boston stories. I nodded, smiled, asked questions. Fucked her when she wanted it, holding back the revulsion I felt, knowing I wasn't the only one who'd been inside her that week. Friday morning, I told her about my work emergency in Atlanta. The disappointment on her face seemed so genuine it almost made me doubt myself. But you just got back, she pouted, running her hand up my arm. I was looking forward to our weekend together. I know, babe. I'm sorry. New client. Huge account. I'll make it up to you. I kissed her forehead, tasting the bitterness of irony. Maybe next weekend we can go somewhere. Just the two of us. She brightened at that. Said she'd look forward to it. Kissed me goodbye with those lying lips. I drove straight to Charlotte. 5 hours on the interstate with nothing but my thoughts and the letter, now crumpled from being folded and unfolded so many times. Every mile, the cold inside me grew. By the time I checked into my room at the Hilton, I felt like I was made of ice. The letter had mentioned a restaurant across from the hotel. An upscale steakhouse where the least expensive thing on the menu cost more than I made in an hour. I posted up at the bar where I could see the entrance, nursing a whiskey I couldn't taste. And then she walked in. Leslie, my wife of 5 years. Hair done in those loose curls that took her an hour to perfect. Makeup flawless. Wearing that red dress, the one she'd gotten for our anniversary last year, the one she swore was our special occasion dress. Said she'd never wear it with anyone else. Another lie to add to the pile. She was alone, checking her phone, smiling at something on the screen. Then he walked in. Tall, confident stride. My brother. Jack. My only fucking brother. The whiskey glass nearly shattered in my grip. They didn't see me. Too wrapped up in each other. He kissed her cheek, hand lingering at the small of her back as the hostess led them to a table by the window. Prime view of the street. Prime view for me, sitting in my rental car after I paid my tab and left, hands shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the ignition. I watched them through the glass. Laughing. Touching hands across the table. Leslie throwing her head back at something he said, exposing the long line of her throat, the same throat I'd kissed 1,000 times, thinking it was mine to kiss. And then Jack saw me. Our eyes locked through the restaurant window, through the darkness, through the years of brotherhood now lying in ashes between us. He didn't even have the decency to look guilty. Just pulled out his phone, tapped on it, and seconds later, my phone buzzed. The message hit me like a physical blow. Leslie's been fooling around with me and a buddy of mine. Didn't know she was your wife until recently. Figured you wouldn't believe me, so I had to bait her out. What's the move now? I read it 3 times, my vision blurring at the edges. My brother. My wife. And apparently, some other guy too. How long? How many times had she been with Jack while telling me she loved me? How many other men had there been? The cold inside me crystallized into something hard and sharp. I texted back 5 words that would set everything in motion: we bury her. Call me later. I drove back to the hotel in a fog, barely seeing the road. Checked into my room. Ordered a bottle from room service. Sat in the dark, drinking straight from the bottle, as the pieces started clicking together in my mind. The late-night text she'd swipe away when I walked into the room. The work friends, whose names changed every few months. The lingerie I never saw her wear. The weekends when she'd come home with a glow I'd attributed to career satisfaction. My phone rang at midnight. Jack. I answered but said nothing. You okay? His voice, so familiar, now strange to my ears. No. I didn't know, man. Not at first. Met her at O'Malley's 6 months ago. She never mentioned being married. By the time I figured it out, we were, you know. Fucking, I supplied, the word like ash in my mouth. You were fucking my wife. Yeah. At least he didn't deny it. Then last month, she starts talking about this other guy she's seeing too. Rich asshole from her office. That's when I put it together, all her stories about traveling, the lies. Realized she must be playing someone else too. When she mentioned her husband's name. Christ, Eric. I almost decked her right there. I said nothing, letting him stew in the silence. I should have come to you right away, he continued. But would you have believed me? Your little brother, the fuck-up, telling you your perfect wife is a cheating whore. He had a point. I wouldn't have believed him. Would have thought it was jealousy or one of his games. So you sent the letter, I said. Yeah. Had to show you. Had to make sure you saw it yourself. I took another pull from the bottle. How many others? Besides you and this rich guy? Don't know for sure. At least one more. She's mentioned a traveling friend a few times. For men that I knew of. Maybe more. All while wearing my ring. Sleeping in my bed. Spending my money. You said we bury her, Jack said, his voice lower now. What did you have in mind? That's when the plan started forming. Cold, calculated, complete. This rich guy she's seeing. Can you get to him? Maybe. Why? Because we're going to need his help, whether he knows it or not. We talked for 2 hours, the plan taking shape with each passing minute. By the time we hung up, the ice inside me had hardened into resolve. Leslie thought she was playing a game. She didn't realize the game was about to play her. It took a week to set everything up. Jack told Leslie that his wealthy friend, the one she'd been angling to meet, wanted to arrange a private evening. She jumped at the chance, didn't even try to hide her eagerness. Asked what he liked, what she should wear, how much he was willing to spend on their arrangement. Each text Jack forwarded to me was another nail in the coffin of what I'd thought our marriage was. I rented the hotel suite under a fake name. Had the video equipment professionally installed, hidden cameras with crystal clear audio, feeding to the room next door where I'd watch everything unfold. Cost me nearly $5,000, but it would be worth every penny. The night arrived. I sat in the monitoring room, headphones on, watching the empty suite on the screens. Jack had given her the room number. Told her to let herself in, that his friend would meet her there. At 8:03, the door opened. Leslie walked in, looking around appreciatively at the luxury suite. She was wearing a black dress I'd never seen before, tight enough to show every curve I'd once thought belonged to me alone. She set down her overnight bag, the same one she took on her work trips, and checked her makeup in the mirror. My brother arrived 5 minutes later. They kissed, not a friendly peck, but deep, familiar. Comfortable. The kind of kiss that told me this had been going on for much longer than Jack had admitted. He's running late, Jack told her, hands already exploring her body like he owned it. Said to start without him. Leslie laughed, a sound I once loved. Kinky. I like him already. What followed was 30 minutes of footage I'll never be able to scrub from my brain. My wife and my brother, in every position imaginable, her calling out his name, begging for more, telling him how much better he was than her pathetic husband. Then, as they lay catching their breath, Jack, following our script perfectly, asked her about me. So how do you keep your husband from suspecting anything? All these business trips? Leslie laughed, stretching like a satisfied cat. Eric? Please. He's so trusting it's almost boring. I tell him I'm in Denver, and he believes me. I tell him I miss him, and he melts. Meanwhile, I'm using his credit card points for my flights to meet you or David or whoever. He never checks. Jack prompted. He's not smart enough to. Besides, I keep him happy enough at home. Throw him some sex once in a while, tell him he's the only one for me, and he eats it up. She rolled onto her stomach, giving the hidden camera a perfect view of her face, flushed, smug, contemptuous. You know what the best part is? She continued, tracing patterns on Jack's chest. He thinks he's so lucky to have me. This one time, he actually thanked me for choosing him. Can you believe that shit? Thanked me while I was fresh from fucking his boss. My boss. That was new information. The cold inside me dropped another 10 degrees. His boss too. Damn, Leslie. You get around, Jack said, sounding impressed despite himself. Life's too short to fuck just one man, she replied, reaching for her purse. Especially one as boring as Eric. He's a good provider, though. I'll give him that. This purse? Anniversary gift. The car I drove here in. Birthday present. She laughed again. The idiot even pays for the hotel rooms where I fuck other guys, with his points. Every word was a fresh cut, but I didn't bleed. I just got colder, more determined. Jack kept her talking for another hour, skillfully extracting every detail of her deceptions, her affairs, her contempt for me. By the time he left, claiming his rich friend had cancelled, I had nearly 2 hours of footage that would destroy her completely. I spent the night editing it down to the most damning 15 minutes. Her face clearly visible. Her words crisp and unmistakable. Her betrayal documented in high definition. The next morning, I started distributing my work. First, to her boss, the one she'd apparently been sleeping with, along with a friendly note that I'd be speaking to HR and legal about the company's policies on supervisor-subordinate relationships. Next, to her parents, with whom she'd cultivated an image as the perfect Christian daughter. Their only child, who'd made them so proud with her spotless reputation and regular church attendance. Then to the church group she led every Wednesday night, where she counseled young wives on building faithful marriages. To her closest friends, the ones she posted endless selfies with, captioned with hashtags about loyalty and sisterhood. And finally, to every social media platform where she'd crafted her carefully curated life. The devoted wife. The successful career woman. The faithful Christian. All of it, exposed as a sham in 15 excruciating minutes. I waited until she'd be on her way home from Charlotte. Placed the flash drive on her side of the bed with my note, "Don't bother coming home. Game's over. You lost." Then I left to stay at a hotel. Turned my phone off. Waited. When I turned it back on 12 hours later, there were 63 missed calls. 38 voicemails. Over 100 texts. From Leslie, from her parents, from our friends, from my boss. I listened to only one voicemail, the most recent from Leslie. Her voice was raw, broken. "Eric, please. We can fix this. It was a mistake. I was confused. Please come home so we can talk. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please." I deleted it without responding. Deleted all of them without listening. The texts told me everything I needed to know. Her parents had disowned her. Our church had asked her not to return. Her boss had fired her. Apparently, the video had exposed not just their affair but some creative expense reporting she'd been doing. Friends she'd had for decades were publicly denouncing her. Her carefully constructed life had burned to the ground in less than a day. Only then did I return home. She was sitting on the front steps, mascara streaked down her face, still wearing yesterday's clothes. She jumped up when she saw me. "Eric, thank God. We need to talk. I can explain everything." I walked past her like she was invisible, unlocked the door, and started packing my things. She followed me, grabbing at my arm, my shirt, anything to make me acknowledge her. "Please, Eric. It wasn't what it looked like. Jack set me up. He's always been jealous of you, of us." I shook her off and kept packing. "I made a mistake," she sobbed. "One mistake. Are you really going to throw away 5 years of marriage over one mistake?" That made me stop. I turned to look at her, really look at her, for the first time. The woman I'd devoted my life to. The woman I'd planned to have children with. The woman who'd been fucking my brother, my boss, and God knows how many others, all while spending my money and laughing about it behind my back. One mistake. I repeated, my voice deadly quiet. Which one was the mistake, Leslie? Sleeping with my brother? With my boss? With your friend David? Or just getting caught? Her face crumpled. "I love you. Only you. The others didn't mean anything." "That actually makes it worse," I said, zipping up my suitcase. "And for the record, it wasn't one mistake. It was dozens of calculated decisions. Every time you lied about where you were going. Every time you fucked someone else. Every time you came home and kissed me with the same mouth that had just been on another man's cock. Those weren't mistakes. Those were choices." "What can I do?" she whispered, sinking to her knees. "How can I fix this?" I looked down at her, this stranger wearing my wife's face, and felt nothing but that same cold clarity. You can't. There's nothing left to fix. I picked up my bags and headed for the door. I've filed for divorce. The papers are on the kitchen table. Sign them and have your shit out of here by the end of the month. Where am I supposed to go? She cried. Everyone hates me. My parents won't talk to me. I lost my job. I have nothing left. I paused at the door, looked back one last time. Sounds like a personal problem. She lunged at me then, all pretense of remorse gone, nails aiming for my face. You bastard. You ruined my life. I caught her wrist easily, held it until she stopped struggling. No, Leslie. You ruined your life. I just made sure everyone knew who you really are. I let her go, walked out the door, and didn't look back. She screamed obscenities after me, threats, promises of revenge. But what else could she take from me? She'd already taken my trust, my love, my future. All I'd done was take back my dignity. Jack called that night as I was settling into my new apartment. Asked if I was okay. I told him I was. Asked if he was. Getting there, he said. I am sorry, Eric. Not for her, she got what she deserved. But for not telling you sooner. For being part of it at all. Water under the bridge, I said, and meant it. The cold inside me had thawed just enough to recognize that he'd done me a favor in the end. Better to know now than waste another 5 years on a lie. I ran into her once, about a year later. At a gas station off the highway. She looked older, harder. The designer purse replaced by something cheap. The diamond ring, my grandmother's, reset for her, conspicuously absent from her finger. She saw me and froze, a deer in headlights. I nodded once, filled my tank, and drove away without a word. She tried calling again after that. Texting. Said she'd changed. Said she missed me. Said she'd never stopped loving me. But she doesn't get it, I'm not angry anymore. I'm clean. She's the one sitting in the ruins.